Hello, I'm teacher Ivan. I welcome you to our first lesson of matrices. A matrix is simply defined as the collection of information, measured numbers, stored in rows and columns. Therefore, the arrangement of numbers in rows and columns form what we call a matrix. But these numbers have to be enclosed in a bigger bracket, just like we've done. So these numbers must be arranged in rows and columns, enclosed with big brackets. That's what we call a matrix. Or we can also define a matrix as the arrays of numbers in a rectangular form with large brackets around them. So that is what a matrix is. Then we shall come to the common terms used in matrices. We have 6 major terms. The first one is what we call an entry or an element. This is simply a number within the matrix. Remember, we've said that the information that is stored in a matrix is in a numerical form, or they are figures or numbers. And therefore, these figures or numbers that make up a matrix are what we call elements or entries. Sometimes we call them components. So when I talk about a component, an entry or an element of a matrix, I mean a number that forms the matrix. 2 is rows of a matrix. Yes, we've said that a matrix is arranged in rows and columns. So it is very paramount for us to know what a row is and what the column is. So we are saying that rows are lines of numbers that go across the page. For instance, considering our matrix, these are the rows. The line of numbers that go across the page. So this is row 1, this is row 2, meaning that elements 2 and 3 form the first row, and elements 4 and 5 form the second row. So that is how we determine the rows of a matrix. Let us continue. Our third term are the columns of a matrix. Columns of a matrix are simply the lines of numbers that go down the page. For instance, we are using the same matrix. We saw that these that go across were rows, and now these that go down the page are columns. So, meaning that this matrix has 2 columns. 2 and 4 are in the first column, 3 and 5 are in the second column, meaning that this matrix has 2 rows and 2 columns. So those are the rows and columns of a matrix. Our fourth term that we must know is the order of a matrix. The order of a matrix simply refers to the number of rows and columns in a given matrix. It's good that we've just looked at how we determine the rows and columns. And now we are told that the order of a matrix is simply the number of rows and columns in that given matrix. For instance, the order of a matrix is given by the number of rows in that matrix times the number of columns in the same matrix. For instance, we have a matrix here. It has 2 rows but 3 columns. So, meaning that this is a 2 by 3 matrix. We start with the number of rows and end with the number of columns. So we call this a 2 by 3 matrix. This is how we determine them. This is row 1, this is row 2, this is column 1, column 2, column 3. And therefore, the above matrix has 2 rows and 3 columns. So then how shall we write its order? The order is written by writing the number of rows first times the number of columns. Therefore, there are 2 rows, 3 columns. So it will be a 2 by 3 matrix. That is how we get the order of a matrix. Let us continue. We are now, after knowing how we write the order of a matrix, please, I want you to try out these 3 simple numbers. You are going to write these matrices using any figures of your own wish. You write a 3 by 2 matrix, you write a 1 by 2, and a 5 by 2 matrix. Otherwise, that will mark the end of our first lesson. Please don't forget to subscribe, follow our pages, follow our accounts on TikTok, and like, comment, and share so that we all learn together as we enjoy together. I'm Teacher Ivan from Wunna Educational Services. Please don't forget to hit the bell such that you get notified whenever we have a lesson so that we learn together and no one misses out. Otherwise, see you next time in the next lesson. Bye bye.